Do you know how much 100 rupees will be worth after 30 years? Percentages help us understand how inflation works. We make individual and compound interest-based accounts using percentages. Accounting for compound interest shows how inflation reduces the value of money and increases spending. For example, let us consider 100 rupees. Will this 100 rupees be worth the same 5 years from now? That is, the question is whether the same item that can be bought for 100 rupees today can be bought for the same 100 rupees 5 years from now. How can we say that? So what happened to 100 rupees? After 5 years the value of 100 rupees depreciates. The value of the item goes up. How does 100 rupees depreciate? Why decrease? Inflation is the reason. Why does the price of an item worth 100 rupees go up after 5 years? What is the reason for climbing? Inflation is also the reason for that. Now we understand one thing, don't we? Inflation reduces the value of money, increases the value of the object. It is because of this inflation that we now have to pay more than 50,000 for a sovereign of jewelry that our grandfathers bought for 50 rupees. This inflation is the reason why the value of money keeps decreasing and the value of goods keeps increasing. Have we not seen above with a sovereign of jewels what inflation has done to the value of money and the value of things from the past to the present? Similarly, we can see how this inflation will change the value of the rupee and the cost of a commodity from present to future. We use percentage and compound interest formula to see this. Only you know the formula for compound interest. P times 1 plus I whole power n is that formula. P is the principal value. I is the interest rate. N is the number of years. Now let us assume the percentage of inflation to be 5%. Why not under it? Or not more? Maybe. Less likely to be below 5% in developing countries like India. And it can even increase up to 7%. It can be increased beyond that. However, we can take 5% as average inflation. So taking this 5% first. Let's see in the table how this inflation depreciates 100 rupees every 5 years and how it increases the value of an item. You can understand many details from the table. 5 years later, 100 rupees depreciates to 77 rupees at 5% inflation. That is, the value of the commodity from 100 rupees becomes 128 rupees after 5 years at 5% inflation. Also see how the value of the rupee and the value of the commodity become after 10 years. Keep looking at 15 years, 20 years, 25 years and see what happens after 30 years. The value of 100 rupees becomes 22. But for 100 rupees we need 431 rupees to buy the product we buy today after 30 years. This is the magic of inflation. Now if inflation is 7%, let us see from the table how the value of 100 rupees and the value of 100 rupees item changes, that is decreases and increases every 5 years. 7% inflation means that 100 rupees will depreciate to 70 rupees in 5 years. But see how the value of a 100 rupee item becomes 140 rupees. It goes down like this in 5 years and up, and see what happens after 30 years. After 30 years your 100 rupees will be worth 12. But the item bought for 100 rupees has to be bought at 759 rupees. That means if the inflation rate increases from 5 to 7%, after 30 years the product bought at 431 will have to be bought at 759. Now think, what if this inflation increases to 8%, 9%, 10%? By understanding this inflation calculation you will also understand the interest rate at which your savings should grow. Since inflation will be above 5% anyway, the interest rate on your savings should be more than that compounded. I hope you find this information useful. Thanks for watching this video. Join with us for more useful informative videos like this.